Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Laura Harris. Our 2023 Retail Forum brought together leaders from across the industry. This year, I had the honor of sitting down with Automotive News' spotlight guests to discuss their careers, individual growth, and what the future holds. Meet Senior Director of Finance at Walser Automotive Group, Jennifer Parsons. I am here with our last and final spotlight of the day, Miss Jennifer Parsons. She is the Senior Director of Finance at Walser Automotive Group. How does it feel to be here today?
A huge honor. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Now, you're being spotlighted, highlighted today, but this isn't your first time. You actually made 40 under 40. What happened that you got to that point? What have you done in your career that's led you this way?
That's a huge honor. A bit surreal, actually. I got into the car business probably how a lot of us got into the car business, by accident. I was midway through my MBA in grad school, and I thought that being bored at work would be solved by going back to school. Turns out it is a great way to rack up student loans. It is not a great way to not be bored at work.
Oh, I relate.
So I started looking at different career paths, and I found a finance development program with the previous group I was with, and I'll go for a couple years, I'm gonna learn the ropes, and then I'm gonna be in banking. I just knew that that was the path I was gonna take, and this was gonna be the path there. And then I got in, and probably 6 months in, I knew that that was where I wanted to be, and kind of the rest is history, so.
Now, earlier we talked about service and parts department. We've talked about AI, marketing, technology, all across the board, but you are finance. So how does finance play such a critical role in dealerships and automotive groups?
It plays a huge role. So Walser is actually very unique in that we don't have an F&I office, so we don't have finance managers. So I oversee a handful of different things, but our world is actually single point of contact. So our salesperson takes the customer from start to finish. There's no traditional kind of back office, and so technology plays a huge role in our world. I'm actually in Chicago launching a software right now, so we have something called Fuse Transact. It's our end-to-end kind of sales process tool, menu presentation, and that's what allows us to process customers through the dealership without an F&I office. So.
Now, where did that idea stem from? I know everything is changing with AI and evolving, so how did you come to find that idea, and how is it going to be growing and evolving through short-term and long-term?
So Walser had a long time ago, long before my time, gone single point of contact, gotten rid of that F&I office, and started their own software because Andrew, my boss, him and his brother Paul could not find something that existed on the market that accomplished what they wanted. So they created their own software, which was kind of old Fuse, we call it, but that was kind of the original version of that software. And so they've always been forefront of the technology and how software can help us get through transactions and help get customers out in a great experience. So.
Now, this is new software, but something you're familiar with is you had a fraud training regimen, and that kind of put you on the board, and one of the reasons you were in 40 under 40. What is that training regimen, and how does it affect your customers and your employees?
Yeah, so 2020, we all know COVID hit. We found out very quickly that, kind of the hard way, that customers and fraudsters figured out that doing remote business was a lot easier to fool dealerships, and we learned the hard way by losing, a car, a luxury car, and so we had a lot of fraudulent pay stubs, a lot of people on furlough that were making pay stubs up or saying that they were working when they weren't, and so we were running into these situations where we're bringing cars back, which is a terrible situation for the dealership, terrible for the customer, and so I worked closely with our L&D team, our lender partners, our safety and risk department, and we created a really in-depth training for our management team, for the centralized finance team, as well as a shortened version for our salespeople. So we were all kind of watching each other's backs and watching for these red flags and watching for these risks. And we have been able to stop a significant amount of fraud from happening just through that training. And I think what made it so effective is we made it very real. And I always joke, salespeople and sales managers, they love the drama. Give them this dramatic story about this guy that came in and he brought a fake check and he was
It'll
yelling.
sell.
Yeah. That will stick in their mind, and they call and they're like, hey, I think this is the same as that one, and they get excited when they catch something. So we tried to make it as kind of fun as possible, and it has been very effective. So.
And last question, what's next for you personally and professionally? How are you going to continue to push yourself?
So personally, I have a almost 16-month-old, so I am very busy with that. Professionally, we're kind of in the midst of this software rollout, as I said, but it's also shifting the entire way the process works on the show floor. So working very closely with our teams across the group to get that rolled out.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Jennifer.
Thank you.
Jennifer of Walser Automotive. Please give her a round of applause. That is our final spotlight. Up next, we have our final keynote speaker, so be sure to stick around. Thank you.